Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about this movie called Diary of a Waikato Kid: The Long Haul. Let's get started. Okay, I have to say, this is a very bad movie in my opinion. I'm gonna say reasons why it sucks. 1. The main problem and criticism of the film is the new cast, as they do not necessarily match the roles and appearances of the characters. The new cast also has rather lousy chemistry, unlike the first 3 films. This is especially noticeable between the Hefferley family and other characters. 2. There are several main problems with the characters. Greg looks way too young for a middle schooler, as he looks more like an elementary schooler than an actual middle schooler. Roderick's appearance doesn't match the books or previous films, as his new actor lacks the proper look that Bevan Bostick had. Unlike the previous films, his personality felt fake and one-dimensional. Susan Hefferley hardly looks anything like in the previous 3 films, in which she was overall caring. In the first 3 films, Rachel Harris had brown hair, and put in a good performance that matched her character's personality incredibly well, including her overprotectiveness. Here, Alicia Silverstone has blonde hair, and puts in a more threatening and aggressive performance that doesn't match up to her character at all, and it makes her look more like a bully than an actual parent. Frank is an incredibly boring character compared to the Stevenson's performance from the first 3 films, who was way funnier and more interesting then. Manny doesn't look anything like he did in the first 3 films, as he now has curly hair with no explanation. 3. Bad acting that comes across as lazy and unnatural. You could replace the existing characters with some other random characters, and it wouldn't make any difference. Very weak, unoriginal and poorly executed story that steals element from films such as A Goofy Movie, as well as a confusing and hard to follow climax. 4. Unnecessary sequel baiting. Susan Hefferley says to Greg that they will flying for their next vacation, but no sequel after this film was made, due to it bombing in the box office. 5. While the movie still has element from the books, it focuses a lot on telling its own story, rather than adapting the story of the book in which the film is based on, leading to poor use of the source material. 6. In the book, the Hefferleys were going on a road trip to go to Disneyland. However, in this film, they go on a road trip for 4 days, to visit Meemaw for her 90th birthday, which Greg thought was unexciting, and a waste of time. In addition, the water park scene from the book isn't present in the film. 7. In Hard Luck, Meemaw is rumored to be dead, but in this film, she's alive. 8. In the book, the youngest child in the Beddoe family is a boy, but in this film, it's a girl. 9. They go to the Corners restaurant in the third wheel, not in the original story of The Long Haul. 10. Despite being the 4th film in the franchise, the movie has a really poor connection to the previous films, which makes it feel more like a generic remake or reboot than an actual sequel. 11. There is almost no good comedy or humor in this film, which ruins all of the comedic humor from the previous films and books. 12. When Greg Hefferley hides from Mr. Beddoe, he uses the toilet and you can hear him taking a dump, which copies the entire scene from Psycho. 13. The scene where Greg gets a diaper stuck to his hand, and becomes Diaper Hands. 14. When Mr. Beddoe chases after Greg on the carnival ride, he pushes down on Roderick's stomach, causing him to throw up, with an added slow motion effect to make it worse. 15. Constant reuse of the same background extras, and the worst part of this is that some of them stare directly in front of the camera. 16. There is very confusing logic in this film, although it is meant to be based on reality. 17. The car's engine somehow gets damaged when they run into a soft hay bale. 18. Greg is somehow able to access the Beddoes' hotel room without a key card, even though all key cards are meant to only unlock a specific room. 19. The Hefferleys think that it is somehow fine to push their car at a very quick speed down the incredibly steep hill in front of Meemaw's house, and get into the car as they do it. However, in real life, the family except Greg, who is in the boat, would likely die because of the steepness of the hill and the car's speed, which would cause them to crash into Meemaw's house. 20. In addition, it seems impossible for Audric, Manny, Susan and Frank to be in Meemaw's backyard so soon after the boat flies into the pool, safe and sound. They would need to get out of the car, ring the doorbell, and have someone at least one door. This would take around 1-2 minutes, yet they arrive just 15 seconds after the boat flies into the pool. 21. As a poor attempt at humor, the emotional moments are stopped almost immediately, since the film just crams into yet another unneeded joke when it tries to be emotional. 22. Manny wins a pig and somehow it's all Greg's fault, even though he was trying to prevent the whole situation from happening. 23. Uses product placements, consisting of Dunkin' Donuts, Pepsi, Vtech, Instagram and Apple products. This also includes references to mainstream pop culture like Undertale, Minecraft, YouTube and Twitch streamers. 24. On that topic. One of the cringiest moments in the film is where Audric looks at cosplay on Greg's phone. 25. The Heathalize characterizations have been butchered, and they often behave in a nonsensical, annoying, frustrating and idiotic manner. For example, instead of calling the cops on the Bedders, the Heathalize decide to chase them down and break into their hotel just to get their stuff back. However, this did happen in the book. 26. Susan has a massive ego and is a very selfish and immature parent. She is also a huge Mary Sue who yells constantly, bashes modern technology, and belittles what her family likes and don't like, while caring more about what she likes. In fact, she doesn't even care the slightest that she humiliates Greg at the expo, and is more concerned about running the trip the way she wants it, and gets away with it, making her a karma Houdini. Even her apology scene nearly at the end of the movie does not excuse her for the things she has done that. 27. What makes this aspect worse is that in the third film, Susan says you can't take away what they love to Frank, which is exactly what she does here. Not only does this contradict the previous film, but this can also count as hypocrisy. 28. Another example is Greg not telling his family about the Bedders, who are literally trying to kill him, yet he tries to hide this from his family. Though this could be because he thinks he will be blamed for it, which is likely. 29. Instead of trying to get their stuff back from the Bedders who stole it in the first place, Susan is more concerned about getting clean than getting their stuff back, which is the whole point of the attempt to break into the motel room in the first place. 30. Greg somehow thinks that Indianapolis is near Meemaw's house on a map that is scaled, and he should know that maps aren't like that, implying that he doesn't understand how maps work. 31. There is one scene where Greg almost gets run over by a car and Susan is more concerned about Manny taking a nap than Greg almost getting hurt, and tells him to be careful because he almost woke up Manny. Instead of being grateful that her son wasn't killed, Susan takes this for granted and is worried about something far less important. This just shows how horrible and neglectful Susan can be. 32. The morals were mostly bad and felt extremely shoved in. 33. The action scenes are so lame to the point where even the action scenes from the previous films have done better. 34. An interesting chain of events that only serve to pad out the running time of the movie. 35. Abysmal production values, considering the author, Jeff Kinney, would much rather have an animated adaptation of Cabin Fever, which would have been marketed as a theatrical film or a television special, but somehow decided to go with a fourth film with an all-new cast, which unfortunately didn't help. 36. The movie often acts like spending time with your family, and taking a break from technology is a problem, with Greg even saying we need things like video games and smartphones to survive in the beginning, which is a very bad and false moral. Atrocious CGI for the seagulls and the mouse, which look absolutely fake and unrealistic. The ending makes no sense, and is rather tiresome to sit through, especially compared to the first three films. 37 And finally, Greg almost does not learn anything in this movie, or the movie did not try to build up the lesson. In the first 3 movies, Greg learns to be a better friend, a better son, and a better brother, but here, Greg does not learn anything at all. That is the only Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie I hate. That's the end of the talk.